Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you for what you give me in terms of my growth, and I'm hopeful in my development I can pass something on to you. Well, I'm doing this video a little bit different this time. A little different experience. I normally do the vocal first, then add the music. But this time I did the music first, and now I'm doing the vocal. Not sure what I'm going to end up with. But, life is experimentation. So we will see what we end up with. Okay, so one of my aims on this channel is to take very, very complicated matter and break it down into something that we can use in our everyday life. I'm learning in many, many different ways, and I'm just as proud as the other ways as I am with my academic experiences. But just to set the scene, so to speak, I have degrees in biology. I have degrees in chemistry. I also have a degree in economics. I only did the degree in economics because I had a method for learning that I wanted to apply on the difficult subject matter without having a background in that subject matter, and I was successful. And all of this has gone on into me trying to pass on what I've learned and my methods for learning in my school, as well as, just in my personal life. And helping other people settle any issues that they may be going with. I developed a learning style that I want to apply into different areas of my life. I've been studying esoteric knowledge thanks to my papa, and to a degree my grandma, who raised me when my mom was unable to continue. So what I've ended up with is what you are getting in this channel. When you dig into the esoteric, when you start really looking at ancient knowledge and wisdom and going through the academic material, the scholarly material, you find it's a lot of information. It's overwhelming. Let me put it to you like this. Everything I did in biology, everything I did in chemistry, everything I did in economics and law that I'm doing now. When I say law, in this instance, I'm particularly talking about judicial law, statutory law, national law, contract law, finance law, trust law. Nothing compares to the breadth of knowledge and wisdom and data and sources that you find in your research for the esoteric. Understanding spirituality, understanding ancient kingdoms. Nothing is as complex as that my experience has shown. That's my experience. It boggles my mind. I never had those challenges to that degree. Not to say that my academic experiences were easy. Far from it. I worked. But the amount of work that goes into understanding esoteric, nothing compares to that. And if you're like me, if you're digging into the scholarly material and researching book after book after book, it's overwhelming. You find yourself studying more than applying. So in this channel, I'm focusing on applying. Just the basics, just the facts, basic facts that you can use every day. And as I've said in this channel, I use the 4 sources, only 4 sources, in applying and summarizing and concluding all of the esoteric material that I've read. And it's been an experiment. I wanted to actually see if I could do it, if I could take just 4 main sources and apply those 4 main sources to every phenomenon that we know or could know. or experience or face in our day-to-day experiences. And so far, I've been able to do it with books, with movies, with conversations with individuals, other reading material, different aspects of life, law, science, mathematics, and it applies to the T. And in this video, I will be demonstrating that with Buddhism. Well, a certain category within Buddhism. Call them tools. I'll be using one tool to support my thesis, my practice. And then that will be the Eightfold Path. Okay? I will be examining the esoteric relationship between the Eightfold Path and Buddhism and the Paut Neteru of the ancient world. And I have to give a caveat or disclaimer. I am not, though I used to be, of the mindset that what the Tibetans were doing was original material, original copyrighted material, so to speak. Come find out. And it was a blow to my psyche, to my self-identity, because at that particular time in my development, I assumed myself to be an heir of the Tibetan kingdom, reborn in this day and age. I no longer feel that. I'm divinity. We all are divinity. And our divinity didn't begin in ancient Kemet. And there's a lot of information on that. My intuition supports that. We go back to when time began as divinity. Couldn't be divinity if we didn't go back to when time began. Whatever time is, there's only now, as far as I'm concerned. There kingdoms and civilizations that nobody knows how long we've been here as divine beings. There's a lot of theories. I feel ab antiquo from the beginning. That's how long consciousness has been around. And I am consciousness, you are consciousness. Videos coming soon to explain. So anyway, esoteric relationship between the Eightfold Path and Buddhism and the Paut Neteru. The four main sources that I use, everyone should know by now, unless you're new to my channel. I use the 7 cosmic laws of the universe, made famous to me in Rosemary Clark's book. The 7 natural laws of the universe, introduced to me by the Kabbalion. Come find out, it's older than the Kabbalion, goes further, way, way, way back than the Kabbalion. Though it was, for me, it was a good introductory piece of material that I've now applied in different aspects of my life, as well as made it a foundation of education in my school. All the kids have to learn it before they can do any science, before they can do any math, because it can be used in any aspect of life, including academic study, mathematics, science, English, reading, you name it. But anyway, so the 7 natural laws of the universe, as well as the 12 disciplines of mind. A lot of people who hear about these 12 disciplines of mind from me assume that it's biblical. Biblical meaning that the origin is biblical. Origin is not biblical. As I said, just like the knowledge of the Tibetans after the Typhonian age, there was a philosophy that existed. There was a civilization that existed before Kemet. There was the 12 disciplines of mind that existed before the Bible. I like the biblical interpretation as well as interpretation of other aspects of the esoteric in different religions, including Islam, including in Taoism, including in Hinduism, Judaism. I don't separate. All spirituality is me. All life is me. All religion is me. All numbers is me. All science is me. All life is me. It's you as well. So I'm not on a team. I separate myself from teams so that I can be free and see clearly. Now, 12 disciplines of mind. So now we're talking about the Paut Neteru. That's my 4th source of information, knowledge, wisdom that I use in my daily life. application. That's what it's all about, the application. Now, the Four Noble Truths gave birth to the Eightfold Path, and the Four Noble Truths essentially say there is no suffering. Well, that there is suffering, but it's an option. Suffering is an option. It's not standard on this model. It's an option. There's a cause for suffering. There can be an end to suffering using certain practices and tools. According to Buddhism, is using the Eightfold Path. Now, what does that have to do with the Paut Neteru? I will explain shortly. Okay? Let me just give a quick overview of the Eightfold Path. What is it? Okay, it's right understanding, it's right thought, it's right speech, it's right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditation. Right. Correct. What is right? What is correct? What is the right way? As divine beings, don't we get to make the options? Don't we get to choose? Your right may not be my right, but there is a right for all. And that right is law. That is not to say that it is specific to one understanding. Lots and lots of overlap in these studies that you will find. And then the overlap often is confusing because you may have two similar tools, terms, philosophies, wisdoms that seem similar, but different in certain ways. That's the overlap I'm talking about. Okay, now let me go back to the Paut Neteru for 1 second. And I want to bring your attention to Heru, and right here in the center. Vibration number 6. Consciousness number 6. Mind category number 6, whatever you want to call it. Mental discipline number 6. Personality, behavior, property, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, Heru, in my understanding, is conscious mind. That's where the choices happen. Now, you can use the influences of the other Neteru here, of the God minds here. And if you do that properly in an imbalanced Ma'atian way, you will be able to use that conscious mind rightly, correctly. Are we starting to see a relationship already in the Buddhism, in the Eightfold Path? Okay, so Heru has to make right choices. If Heru is not using his influences and his realizations properly, you got suffering. You got issues. That can always be corrected in the now. But that's what Heru is to me. Heru is right now. He's consciousness. Okay, he's this level of consciousness, this Gebian as well as Osarian level of consciousness. He's the mix. He's the realization of the mix. So if you want to influence the physical world, this life that we call real world, make sure you're making right choices. And that's what, in essence, Buddhism is focusing on. Buddhism is a method that can be used in the training of your Heru. Although, for me, everything is born out of this. I'm saying these are my sources. So I'm not necessarily, myself, I'm not necessarily using it, but it's a nice spin. I just want to show you the relationship between the two, the Eightfold Path and the Paut Neteru. So let's dig into some of these. Right understanding, what is that? Right understanding, correct view, an accurate understanding of the nature of things, specifically the Four Noble Truths. Right understanding as it relates to Heru is the application of the other Neteru. Properly using the other Neteru, it's also very important to understand delegation of thought. Sounds complicated, but knowing which Neteru to go to. Right understanding is the proper use, in my view, of knowledge and wisdom at the essence of all life. What is that? To me, I get that from the four, or some combination of the four sources that I'm using in this video. But the right understanding as it applies to Heru, I think you should be able to see a relationship. just from that one. Right understanding is a proper use of the Neteru. If we are relating the two, and we are. Okay, let's look at right thought, which is the application of the knowledge of wisdom. That's what my man or my girl Neteru is all about. These things are energies to me, so they don't necessarily have gender, although there are gender-based elements or foundations to them. Okay, so the application of the knowledge and wisdom, which is what this channel is all about, the application of the knowledge and wisdom is Neteru. Conditioning of thought. Okay, the conditioning of the thought. Thought leads to the real world. Nothing can happen in the real world without the thought. And that's Neteru's job. Right speech. Okay, if we go back to the cosmic laws, you find right speech in who. Okay, who? H-U. The real H-U. H-U, who, in the cosmic laws of the universe is the spoken word. In the beginning was the word. And divinity was with the word. Why is word so special? Why can't you just have a thought? Why isn't it thought enough? Because thought is fleeting. You have many thoughts. Exponential number of thoughts in just a second, 10 seconds. What speech does, what thought does, in addition to syncing your mind to your understanding, it slows down the thought. Before you can have physical, so-called physical matter, energy has to be slowed down. The vibrations have to be slowed down to the level of the physical. Slow down. You want to slow down your thought? You want to slow down your ideas? Talk about them. Talk about them. Write them down. Slow your thoughts down. And let's bring these things, let's materialize these ideas into the real world. Okay, speaking is another level of that. Speaking is, thought would have to be the first level of the manifestation, but speaking is the next level. I do this channel because speaking my thoughts helps me understand it. But I enjoy also people getting something out of it, and I love the comments. Right speech. Speaking slows down. You gods, you divinity ones, speak your manifestations into this real world. That's who in the 7 cosmic laws. All right, so there's already a little mix there, but it's also Simon Peter. Right, Simon Peter also is about right thought or correct thought. Application of knowledge and wisdom. You got some 12 disciplines in there. Okay, right action. Hudu is about action, about doing things. Application of the thought. Bring the thought into Geb. Okay, that's right action. Right livelihood. It's an extension of the right thought, right understanding, right speech. Neteru is the vibration that feeds into, in my interpretation, feeds into the great Mama Aset, so that Mama Aset can give birth to whatever it is we want to manifest in this life, in this world. Okay, right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is similar to Sia in the 7 cosmic laws. Okay, she's similar to Sia. I would also throw in a little bit of Ma'a, which is wise observation. But like I said, my focus is the Paut Neteru, so let's go back to right livelihood. Right livelihood is doing for a living what is in sync and what relates to the consciousness, your consciousness, which is almost impossible because where your consciousness is, you are. But you want to make sure that what you're doing for your income is in sync with that. And you can relate it using these laws in infinite number of ways, but you kind of get what I'm saying. You don't want to be doing for a living something that's counter to where you believe. So that's right livelihood. Right mindfulness. Ma'a. Do we say ma'a? I have to look at these. Yeah, ma'at is wise observation. Okay. Right mindfulness, observation. Well, definitely relationship between Buddhism and the cosmic laws, or at least the Eightfold Path and the cosmic laws of the universe. Okay, right action. We've addressed right action. The merger of the right thought with the right speech. Okay, which that's all about Heru. That's Heru. Merger. He's the merger. He brings it all together for the application in this world. Let's move on to right meditation. What is right meditation? Right meditation is, or can be, a lot of different things. Right meditation doesn't mean sitting with your legs crossed in an uncomfortable position, comfortable or uncomfortable position, listening to soft music, like the kind I create, with flowers and incense. Doesn't necessarily mean that. It can be that. It can be moments before you wake. It can be the moments before you sleep. It could be walking to the shop. It can be driving down the road. But my point is, right meditation is really only focused thought. Where you want to focus the thought. That's the magic. That's the heka in the cosmic laws, okay? That's the heka. Using thought to manifest. This is why we're here as divine beings, the creators that we are. Heru's job is to focus the thought. And to be the filter of the right thought that you want to manifest, give birth to via Great Mama Aset. A lot to sink in. Try to make it fun, but as I said, the whole goal on this channel is to allow us, you, me, to apply very complex knowledge. That is what I refer to as the esoteric knowledge and wisdom. How do we apply it? I think I've done a decent job showing that there is a relationship between the Paut Neteru and Buddhism, as there will be a relationship between all four of the sources and anything that follows, and everything follows the esoteric. There's nothing that precedes the rules and knowledge and structure that is divinity, us. And when you're thinking from that mindset, you can't have a camp. You can't have a team. You are all teams. You are love. You are all unity with the universe. You have the ability to be and choose any consciousness of your desire. Let's keep this simple. It's great to study. I do it all the time. It's great to research. I love it. But now, how do we use it in our everyday life? Through these videos on my channel, that's what I would like to show. That's what I would like to demonstrate. Application of the knowledge simply. And you can continue to do your research. But anyway, thank you for listening. Until next time, peace and love, people.